Alright, this cover is why this character never took off. No need to take a long look at it now. We are going to spend most of this video focusing on this cover and how it assassinated this character as a prospect. This is Kid 94, number 3 from 2011. It is by Tom Falcon, Ron French, and the Buscema that is still alive. The premise of this series is that 90s Thor's son has came into possession of his dad's magic mace, and he has become Kid 90s Thor. I will point out this cover, it's obviously jokey. It is tongue-in-cheek. They know this design is stupid. I think that I shouldn't call it a dreadful design because it is intended to be. But here's the thing. This was our first look at the hero of this. No, really, we have issue 1, the cover to issue 1. It was focused on the mace. It does have the sun in the background, but he is covered in shadow. And it is before he has his powers anyway. Issue 2 had a woman on it. Crazy. Women on comic book covers. What's next? Women on the Supreme Court. So this is our first cover of the series actually showing the title hero. And in fact, issue 4 doesn't really give a good look at him either. Instead, the focus is on the incredibly miscast Thor bad guy who he is fighting. The only time we actually get to see Kid 90s Thor in his real costume on a cover is issue 5. And it is too little, too late. And I would argue this cover does him a disservice too by focusing on the fact that he is calling out for the Avengers and that it is just a very poorly laid out cover with the title obscuring off the character. But criticism of that cover should be reserved for that video. Another thing to note is that comic books have solicitations. I've never really talked about them before. I assume you all know what they are, but to be incredibly succinct, they are press releases for upcoming shit. They usually come out 5 or 6 months before the products they are advertising. So when we got the solicitations for the month that this came out, none of the series was out yet. So yes, this cover did give us our first real glimpse at this character. Furthermore, and I know this because I am using it for the thumbnail, the cover image they showed on the solicitation, it did not feature this speech bubble which announces and makes it a bit clear that it is a joke. It is a design that sunk a character. Really, intentions are irrelevant. Quality is irrelevant. people in 2010 and 2011, they were looking at this image of this cringy, edgy, extreme 90s Thor redesign. And yes, some people were able to clock it as being ironic straight away. But I have done over 1,000 videos and people still didn't realise I am being ironic a lot of the time. Some people will have taken that comment about women totally seriously. And some people will have agreed with it. A lot of comic book fans also don't read comics. They have no intention of reading comics. They just orbit them. They live in their bubbles with their favourite creators and didn't venture out of it. However, they do see shit like this on websites and on forums. They see it being mocked, and they have no reason to not take it at face value. I remember I did the same thing. I saw this cover and I cringed, but then I followed through and came to realise that it wasn't really the new character they were introducing. Many didn't though. Still to this day, I imagine people are finding out about this miniseries, seeing this cover and assuming this is the design. You might think, based on how long I just spent on the cover, this is going to be a long video. But I chose to focus on the cover because this is bad. The series overall is not good, but this is no holds barred, the weakest issue. We have got very uninteresting, angsty drama with his mum telling him off, and it is all the retro style Silver Age Spider-Man gunk. He has got a secret identity and parental figures. It's stuff that this creative team did well on other books, but here it's like, this is your 20th time at bat. Didn't you have anything new to say? This is the least compelling of all their iterations of it, and it just feels very done. High school romance, high school bullies. I understand on Spider-Woman why we have it. She is the daughter of Spider-Man. It is a cute way to contrast the father and the daughter, and the nostalgia for those odd Spider-Man comics isn't out of place there. But what does it have to do with Thor or 90s Thor? And that kid 90s Thor is a teenager, but you can do a lot more with teenage characters than what was done in the 60s, and what you have consistently done with every teenage character you have ever written. I'm talking directly to Tom Falcon there. I'm not implying you, the viewer, are responsible for writing this. Some of you, I think, would do a better comic than this. Good advert, at least. I will not get sidetracked with my controversial view that Fear on Shelf is not entirely awful. And here is the design. This bloody design. The script acknowledges that it is stupid, but there is no insinuation in this issue at all that he is not going to stick with this look. And when your bad guy looks and is this shit, it gives all the more reason for the reader to buy into the idea that brutal, edgy kid 90s Thor is really going to be his design. So we get to see these two ugly things fight, and in keeping with his dad's legacy, Kid 90s Thor is useless and gets defeated. Not good. The people who made assumptions on the character based on the cover, they were the real victors here. They didn't read it and see a character with some potential squandered by out-of-touch rehashes of outdated nostalgia. 7 thumbs up.